So I will give you a presentation on the flash radiotherapy. This is the activity that is being carried out within spoke 1 of the ecosystem. This is a very comprehensive spoke that includes a number of activities that go from fundamental studies to clinical applications. So I will focus on some aspects of this, which are the aspects related to the flash radiotherapy itself and to the possible instrumental developments that we are pursuing. So the idea, as I said, is very broad, and among the various topics that we are focusing on, there are accelerator technologies, which is a very broad field of research, which has important labs in the world involved, and we are tackling particular aspects of this. Diagnostics, and then all the background in terms of radiobiology, so the effect of ionizing radiation on biological matter. We have three main, I would say, experimental assets. One is based on photonics, so it's lasers, high-power lasers-driven technologies for particle acceleration. The other one is based on existing technologies and accelerators at the CPFR facility at the University of Pisa. And a third one is based on radiopharmaceuticals, which has been discussed in a previous conference talk. So just to give you a bit of landscape, we all know that this is oncology and cancer treatment is a very broad and impacting area of from research to clinics. Sorry. And the numbers are really large, and unfortunately they are increasing. So this is on the agenda of all bodies that financing agencies or political bodies that have to deal with this every in perspective. So the idea of looking at mechanisms that can reduce the impact, the socioeconomic impact of cancer treatment is extremely important. The way cancer treatment is approached is very broad, and there are evolving technologies using new approaches, completely new approaches. We're talking about an approach which is well established and extremely effective, and has been ongoing for more than 100 years, but has been evolving in a way incrementally in the past decades, because the basic principles behind radiotherapy were basically the same, and there were no changes in the fundamentals of effects of ionizing radiation. The flash effect is one of the effects, it's not the only one, but it's one of the effects that is bringing novelty in the impact of radiobiology in the potential of oncology and cancer treatment. The way normally ionizing radiation is brought onto the tumor is through particles or radiation, and this is a plot that shows the dose release in the body at a given depth, in millimeters in this case, it can be centimeters, for different particles and different particle energies. This is a very complex, there's a very complex physics behind this that is normally treated using numerical tools to model the propagation of this radiation in the body. But in simple terms, there are different kinds of radiation, photons, electrons, and hadrons that have a slightly different or significantly different propagation properties, and the idea is to use these different propagation properties to tailor the radiation therapy to the specific case. Normally, the radiation therapy is done with photons, so the yellow curve, which is the radiation that is delivered by machines, industrial machines that you find in many hospitals, in most hospitals, like the one shown in the center. that is based on a technology that is a small accelerator that delivers photons via a mechanism that is a conversion mechanism. There are other ways of doing this, like protons, for example. Protons are very nice because they have this feature that release energy at a given depth depending on the proton energy. And this requires technologies that are not easily scalable at the hospital level, so they are usually in dedicated centers. And we have in Italy 3 centers for this kind of therapy. More recently, there's been an interest on this very high energy electrons, and I will focus mostly on this. As I said at the beginning, this is the basic scenario concerning the current technology. So we have an accelerator here, a conventional accelerator, very established technology, has been around for decades, and is relatively compact if the energy of the particles is relatively small. Then it's converted with just a metal that converts a small fraction of this energy into gamma rays, and the gamma rays are used for treatment. Now, as I said, there's been no major changes in this, except that there has been an evolution in the way this energy, these beams are used around the patient, and the numerics of the propagation to optimize the therapy. And all based on the same concept, that you have probability of damage of the tumor, of the healthy tissue, probability of damage of the tumor, and the other way. So the idea is that for a given dose, you have a small probability of damage to the normal tissue and a higher probability of damage to the tumor. So you have a very small window of dose to deliver to the patient in which you can operate to kill the tumor and to leave intact and possibly unaffected the healthy tissue. And all is basically around this therapeutic window. So most of the effort nowadays is focused on trying to exploit this small window using a number of techniques that are basically heavily rely on numerical tools that implement the so-called treatment plan and try to optimize the dose released to the tumor compared to the dose released to the normal tissue. And basically, these are the two guiding principles. Use the treatment planning with many beams from different directions to minimize radiation at surrounding healthy tissues that target the tumor, and use fractionation and distribution in time over many fractions distributed in time, even days or weeks, to allow healthy tissue to recover and rely on the capability of healthy tissue to recover from damage of radiation more than tumors. So what are we tackling as a different? We are tackling a new mechanism that can increase that window a little bit, and so we are looking into new radiation sources that are required for implementing this change in the widening of the radiation of the window, and use new strategies for detecting the dose deposition in the sample to actually measure where the dose is going, and to possibly reduce the treatment time and to reduce the side effects of the therapy. So the idea is this so-called flash effect, flash radiation therapy, which is based on a radiobiological effect, radiation flash effect, that is activated when the radiation is delivered all at once. So while in conventional you distribute the radiation in many fractions, and you take advantage of the recovery time or recovery capability of healthy tissue. In the flash, you deliver the radiation all at once, and if you do that, the flash effect helps if it's activated, in a protection of the healthy tissue. So the differentiation comes in the higher protection of the healthy tissue compared to the tumor tissue. And the evidence is the experimental evidence in preclinical studies and in the first clinical trials is that the effect on the tumor is confirmed, and the healthy tissue repair protection is higher than for conventional. But the situation is not as clear, so the studies that are ongoing at the moment are trying to clarify if this is always true, if it's tissue dependent, what are the parameters of the radiation required for activating this effect. So this is just to go to the same plot. This is the same windows as before. So if we have a Fletcher effect, this normal tissue complication curve moves to the right. So I have a larger window and a higher dose to deliver to the tumor, and possibly to treat even radiation-resistant tumors that are not easily treatable in another way. So at the moment, I won't skip this. Just go to this is a review article that we produced during within the project that makes an estimate, a summary of all the studies that have been done so far in preclinics concerning the effect of the radiation, ultra high dose radiation delivery. And so there is a significant evidence piling up that has, in a way, and this is the first clinical trial that was done a few years ago that really triggered a lot of interest in this effect. And this has now gone to clinical trials that are ongoing with significant numbers of patients treated to really assess the efficacy of this effect at the clinical level. There is also a very interesting reason for pursuing research in this, because as I said, so far in the past decades, there has been no real novelty in the effect of radiation on biological tissues. This effect is, for the first time, opening a window in what really a biological effect of radiation is. So far, probably we only had a very superficial understanding of the effect of radiation. And if we look at the dependence of if we look at the time scale, this is time going from very short femtoseconds down to seconds, hours, or days. If I deliver radiation on a very short time scale, I will first go in the physics of the process. So I excite atoms and molecules, I break molecules, I create new species that have an effect inside the body. If I go to longer times, I have physiochemical reactions, and then I have biological effects. So all this so far has been basically ignored, and we were just looking at the long-term effect of radiation biology post facto. So we just irradiate, we don't care about what happened, then we go and in the end we see what happens. If we deliver radiation in a very short time, like this, for example, laser-driven, or even milliseconds, as we are doing now, at a very high dose, so I deliver a therapeutical dose in a very short time, we have to be concerned with what is happening in this part here, when the reactions are happening, chemical reactions are happening in the body, and the effect of this species inside the body. So the way to do this is to use, as I said, radiation. This is a plot that shows the dose rate as a function of time. So I want the dose here, dose rate to be very high to deliver the dose in a very short time. This is not available easily in hospitals at the moment, and not even in labs. It's very difficult even in research labs to get it. Some labs have the capability of doing this, and they're doing research on this field. But normally, this is the way radiation dose rate is relatively low, and this is applied for minutes, or seconds or minutes. So the idea, the current status is that At the moment, there is trials for skin treatment because we have machines, and I will show an example, which we have in Pisa, the University of Pisa, that can use radiation for low energy, so low penetration, but in the regime required for the flash effect. And then we have proton therapy centers, the ones I mentioned before, which can deliver deep tumor treatment with protons, but proton therapy centers are very small, very few numbers, and they have a very tight availability of beam for the indication for the therapy. So this is not an easy task. So as I said, the issues are physics, technology, radiobiology, treatment planning. So this is the ideal scenario for a project like the ecosystem, where many different professionalities are involved, and in Spoke 1 we have all these represented nicely. So what we do is we develop technologies, so in particular very high energy electrons and detectors for in situ dose deposition. We try to understand the radiobiology, so try to clarify the role of high dose rate radiation, and we prepare for clinical translation. These are broadly the objectives of and there's been a workshop this morning by our young, bright colleagues here mentioned, and I suggest to get in contact with them if you're interested in the details of all these aspects. This is the instrument that we have, one of the assets of the ecosystem. Is the system that is available as an experimental system at the Center for Flash Radiotherapy of the University of Pisa, and in collaboration with the CNR and run by the Center for Instrumentation of the university. Can deliver energy, electrons with energy in the range between 4 and 7 MeV, even higher. And this radiation has the capability of penetrating, say, 2-3 centimeters of a tissue. So can be used for preclinical studies, in vitro, of course, and also in vivo with small animal models, and can in principle, in perspective, be used for treatment of skin diseases, skin cancer in the future. And this is where most of the interest is going now, and using at the moment brain and skin cancer in animal models, which have been developed within which are available for the ecosystem for preclinical studies. Going to the last part of my presentation, I just want to show you some technology development we're doing to develop radiation sources sufficiently compact to be hosted in a hospital environment that deliver very high energy electrons. So from the machine I showed before that delivers 4, 7, up to 10 MeV, in order to penetrate deeper into the body, we need higher energy. And you can do that in several ways, but in order to deliver to go deeper and to be able to reach the parameters needed for flash therapy, at the moment, the very high energy electrons and the protons are the only best candidates. Protons have the problem of size of the installations, so the alternative that remains is really these very high energy electrons that can penetrate deeper. They have a shallow curve, but they can penetrate deeper and can easily propagate through the body. So these are some important aspects of radiation based on particles, which is a very important difference compared to currently available beams that are radiation photons. Photons cannot be focused, cannot be controlled, apart from general relativity, which is beyond reach, whereas charged particles can be focused, and this is very important to precisely target tumors. And this is the very sketchy setup of our system that uses lasers. These are very special type of lasers delivered, they were awarded the Nobel Prize in 2018, and they are focused and deliver a beam from interaction with a very tiny gas target. So it's an extremely powerful technique. And as all very powerful techniques, powerful mechanisms, they have to be controlled. And the control is one of the main issues we are tackling at the moment, considering the potential of compactness, the possibility, the inherently possible ultra-high dose rate, because these are very, very short pulses. They last only a few tenths of femtoseconds. And in principle, they can be very compact also in terms of transport, because we are transporting light instead of particles until the last bit, which is this box here. So just going to the final slides. This is, again, a sketch and nicely prepared by Gabriele Bandini, showing the cartoon of what's happening in a very small part here. This is a few millimeter size, and this is a laser pulse sketched here, and this is where the electrons are being accelerated inside the gas that is ionized, and all this is happening around here. So, our task is really to control the system and to develop this at a level that is sufficiently viable for flash radiotherapy. And for this also we have validated this in the lab. We are doing all the radiobiology validation for the specific application. And we also have established recently a startup for developing the commercial part of this. These are just three images showing some results. This is an experimental result showing the possibility of concentrating the very energy dose delivered by several beams inside a target here in the deep. These are 10 centimeter deep inside a tissue equivalent target. This is the beam as it appears on the fluorescent skin. So it's a very small beam that at the moment is still fluctuating in position. So we have to control this fluctuation. This is what we are tackling at the moment. Putting our attention, our effort. I also want to mention that this is the effort, all this, and in particular last part, but all this is the effort of a combination of research institutes and companies. We also have now are starting with the cascade calls to become operational, and we have 11 projects within the spoke funded by the cascade calls. So we provide we'll tackle some of the aspects of the entire spoke to deliver, to help us to reach all our objectives. So it's a very nice network that is developing and that we hope to continue developing even after the PNRR delivery. And with this, I thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.